Yo, pen friends! Happy Tuesday. Happy October. Hope everything's going well for all of you out there. This is an update video, and it's also and primarily a sneak peek at what we've been working on for the last several months. Really dating back to over a year ago. We were communicating with some other teams and talking about providing a sort of sticker pack, a collection of animations that would have daily use on the timeline. And nothing really came of that. Other than we did some for Pen Friends, sort of as proof of concept. In the end, you know, it's been slow. NFT projects don't want to spend; they're just kind of hanging on for dear life, and in most cases, see this as a luxury. And also, there's probably a little bit of trepidation that maybe we couldn't do it because we hadn't done it. We'd always done, a singular animation, except for camp, where there were a few available, but certainly nothing on this scale. We wound up working on some other things through the fall, and in general, things got really slow, extra slow in 2024. And the upside of that was that we suddenly had time to spend on our own stuff, which was great. Because in the case of Pen Friends, in order to prepare it to be where it needed to be in terms of having flexibility to have multiple animations in order to be animated in the way that we typically work now. It's changed so much in the last 3 years, since we initially launched Pen Friends and put it all together with all these big bulky PNG sequences, and literally everything has changed along the way. So we knew that we had to go back to the drawing board, really with the same art, but rebuild it from scratch in a way that would make it very easy to create once the heavy lifting was done, to create many animations. And so we started with a goal of having about 10 that would work with the entire collection, and we spent some months pulling all of the traits in and sort of perfecting this skeleton and a bunch of other things. And, as we tend to do, we grew it beyond the initial scope of what we were doing because it was fun. And also it felt like now that we can do these things, we probably should. That for the last few years in these video updates have typically been some lip sync from my avatar, and so we thought, yeah, that would be pretty cool too, is to bring mouth positions into the collection, along with text, along with a whole myriad of new hand positions and some props and some backgrounds and some other elements, some special effects, and start to build it out. And it was pretty fun, and it has been fun. And, now we're at the point where we had to cut it off. We're at 42 animations. I think that's a really nice number for launch. It might be the biggest content drop in the history of Web3. 42 token-specific animations for all 2,222 Pen Friends. It's kind of wild when you think about it. 42 animations is a lot. Typically, you could spend $100, $150 on an animation. We are charging you $0. There is no fee for these animations. You get it just for being you. But as long as you still own a Pen Friend, I guess. These are off chain, but there is a wallet connect. So I'll just take you through this here. You connect your wallet. It is going to take a minute to load the engine because there are so many things in it at this point, and just going to wait for that. And like I said, we're looking at starting with 42 animations. And if there's, if people are using them, if they are popular, and I think they very well could be, then we'd like to see this as a starting point and to build on it from here. Maybe it's a situation where we release a new animation weekly. Maybe it's a little less often than that. Maybe it's more. Taking suggestions from the community in terms of animations that you'd like to see happen, that you'd like to have available for use on the timeline in Discord, and really increase the visibility of Pen Friends. It has worked wonders for Pudgy Penguins. They consistently upload new animations, but they're not token specific, and you can't just buy a penguin and then have all of their animations with your own token in it. It doesn't work like that, but it does for Pen Friends. So when you load in the site, you're going to default to a GM animation here. You can see I got my guy, Ali Collins here. And yeah, when we started to beta test this with LNGK and Frosty and Coach, what we found right away was that they wanted to customize their Pen Friends to look more like themselves. I do the same thing. It's fun to play with this. We have these customization tools in here primarily to find problems with trait conflicts, with layering, things like that. So it makes sense to have this. We weren't necessarily going to have it within this the whole time, and now we've started to think maybe we should. So this is a question we're posing to the community. Should there be customization here? I feel like the DGods thing there's been a bit of a mixed reaction there. It is off chain. Do you want access to some traits, all traits? If it's some or maybe it's none. If it's some instead of all, which ones are excluded? And we want to hear from you in terms of what those traits would be. And yeah, the tool here is pretty straightforward. You have all 42 animations here. If I change it to believe, for example, it'll update. We typically in the past have had dark and light skin tone. We've added medium here. And yeah, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I would say there's a couple of arguments in favor of customization, and maybe this could work in a limited way. And that would be browse, I think, and to some extent other ones as well. But where you have let's say evil laugh, where you're sort of wanting to communicate something rather angry, and if you had, say, questioning eyebrows, it's just like a little bit weird. It's definitely better to be intense or something like that. And then conversely, if you were looking to sort out a confusion one here, not that the intense one looks bad, but you might prefer the look of perplexed. So I think there's some advantages there to having some flexibility in terms of choosing some different brows, and you may find that's similar with some other things. I'm thinking about one where you have some eye movement, and if you have your pen friend has let's say pit vipers on, you kind of lose that, and maybe that now there's not enough going on in this particular animation. So to be able to remove those glasses is kind of a luxury. I can see here in this particular animation here that his logo, we added logos to the shirts because if these are out there on the timeline a lot and are constantly visible, we want people to know where they came from. So that's why we've added some logo stuff to the shirts. You can see this is distorted here. There are going to be some things like this that need to be fixed. This needs to be treated like a beta. Because there are millions and billions maybe of combinations, there are going to be things that pop up from time to time. But the way that this is structured, we're able to clean those up very quickly. So if you see something like that, once we've properly launched this and you see things like that, let us know, and we'll sort them out. Otherwise, yeah, everything is pretty self-explanatory. You've got drop downs or you've got dice icons for random choices. And once you have your character the way you want, you can click on generate animation and it will be rendered. After that, you can save it, and it's a pretty straightforward process. So, our aim with this is twofold. Number one, we wanted to give something fun to the PenFriend holders to reward you guys for holding all this time. And we think that 42 animations is a really good start, and something fun to play around with. The customization, depending on what everyone decides, should be available to them. And I think it's more exciting to purchase an NFT if it comes with all of these other things, where it becomes this whole branded package of ready to go animations that you can post on the timeline. So you can see it takes a minute there to render. Now I got the option to download, and it'll save that there. And then I can move on to create, one for GTFO, for example. And I can add the skull tattoo, and yeah, you get the idea. So number one, to give PenFriend holders something fun to do, and number two, as a sales tool, we are still wanting to provide animation services to other projects, earn revenue, be able to share revenue. I think it's easier to show rather than tell. And this is us coming out of the gate swinging with something that no other project has anything even remotely close to this. So it's pretty cool, I think. And I hope you feel the same way. I hope that through this process, maybe we grow our community a bit. I think maybe get some new energy. We've been a relatively stable project, but I think what we've been lacking has been a reason, a really strong reason to buy over the last while. And we hope that this is it. It'll require people to make use of it, and also to help us shape it to make it the best possible. Suggestions for new animations, suggestions for fixes to existing ones, and like I say, to sort out where the boundaries should lie in terms of availability of customization. So a few things to talk about. Once those are sorted, then we can launch this properly and start to get these out here. But I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek into what we've been working on, and exciting times. So we'll speak again soon. Let's talk in the Discord about all this stuff. And as always, PenFriends for life.